of the February 4th meeting agenda. So I'm supposed to give a few minutes here, right, for things to catch up?
Mr. Mayor, Council, that they'll make the transition happen. As they're doing that, I'll note staff has no changes to the agenda, but would note the voucher report is printed. Here at the dais was sent out to you via email earlier this afternoon.
Okay. Does council have any changes to the agenda?
Seeing none, I move that we approve tonight's agenda.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Do I need to take a vote? All those in favor? Say aye.
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 All right. All those opposed say no or nay. Ayes have it. Let's move on. All right. So the consent agenda. Pursuant to council rules, one motion, non-debatable, will approve the recommendation noted. Any member of the council may ask for an item to be taken from the consent agenda for discussion and separate action. Such items removed from the consent agenda shall be considered immediately following approval of the balance of the consent agenda. Staff, any changes to the consent agenda? Council, any changes to the consent agenda?
Hearing none, I move that we approve tonight's consent agenda items A through H.
I second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. All right, the ayes have it. So what did we approve? We approved a DNR outdoor recreation grant application. We approved a DNR local trail connections program grant. We approved Aaron Sparks for the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Commission. We have approval of City Council work session meetings, minutes from November 12th, 2024. We have the approval of licenses. We will receive Park, Recreation, and Forestry Commission minutes from November 26, 2024. Approval of the City Council work session meeting minutes from December 10th, 2024. And finally, approval of the bond reimbursement resolution. Next, we're moving on to presentations. All right.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, Council, I'm going to go ahead and take A before we get to B, if that's all right. You can see item A here. This is a proclamation continuing with the tradition that the Robbinsdale City Council has established some years ago. Proclamation dedicating, or recognizing, I should say, Black History Month here for the month of February. Some years ago, in consult with the Human Rights Commission, initiative was taken up. We have continued this tradition. Certainly don't need to read through the whole thing. I know council sometimes likes to reflect on these. Would note the continued themes. We are following again with the Association the study of African American Life and History, or ASALH, and this year recognizes African Americans and labor. Again, these are the types of initiatives that have long been supported by the City Council. City staff is happy to carry these forward and continue to put these items before you. We'll continue the month as we have in the past through communications, social media, weekly updates that we send out, utilization of some other channels to share these types of important information. But certainly at this point, staff's happy to respond to questions, comments, or concerns. And otherwise, I know council sometimes has feedback for these as well.
Council, any feedback?
If I could start, please. I would just like to start by acknowledging and wishing everyone a meaningful Black History Month, and I really appreciate the city's efforts to uphold this resolution this year and in our previous years. One part of the resolution that I would especially like to highlight is whereas the City of Robbinsdale invites all members of the Robbinsdale community to reestablish their commitment to ensuring racial equality, dignity, cultural empathy, and justice to participate in activities designed to advance the human rights of freedom and equality for all. I think there are some really wonderful ways that members of the community can do this, and I know we've got a few events and learning opportunities that the city has highlighted, and I encourage everyone, even beyond the limits of City of Robbinsdale, to look to our neighboring communities and even on the statewide or national level, or even through your community groups or your employers. There are lots of opportunities to learn more about Black history here in the United States. So thank you.
Other members? Well, I would just like to say something myself, and that was very well put. I think people owe it to themselves to understand the history of this country, and especially given Black history, and slaves built 35 to 50% of this country's infrastructure back in the early days, and so much has come from our Black community. Jazz and blues and the automatic elevator door and even the traffic light and gas masks. So, I mean, it's a really interesting history, and I don't think you have to be Black to be interested in the history that surrounds us. So I encourage all residents, as well as everyone in this room, to dig in on our history. Anything else?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members. So speaking on that, the theme of this year's Black History Month of African Americans and Labor, my sister actually sent me an email about a labor organizer named Isaac Myers, and I'll just read the description from the email. Isaac Myers became a crucial figure in early Black labor organizing when white workers forced Black caulkers out of Baltimore shipyards in 1865. Myers led the creation of the Colored Caulkers Trade Union Society and established a Black-owned shipyard. His work laid the foundation for Black economic cooperation and labor organizing in the Reconstruction era. So I thought that was somebody, I hadn't heard of that person before, and so just sharing that so now more people know about him, because I think that's pretty awesome. And I appreciate everybody else's comments, and happy Black History Month.
Yes, and thank you, fellow council members. Words very much so. I appreciate and value, and also recognize, as very well said. And I always continue to say Black history is American history, and I'm excited that Robbinsdale takes a stance, and we are intentional around celebrating that and recognizing that, and then giving people the opportunity to continue to learn and grow. So thank you for that, and I appreciate you all.
Do I make a motion to move on to the next? Okay, well then let's move on to the next. Parks and Recreation Department Annual Report and Parks Master Plan Presentation.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Matt Basic. I'm the Recreation Services Manager here for the city of Robbinsdale. As indicated, I do have a couple of presentations for you tonight. Let me get this thing up and going. Bada boom. One of them is going to be over the 2024 annual report for the Recreation Department. Just going over some of our successes, not many misses, so that's good. And then the other is going to be over the Parks Master Plan in the hopes that you will vote in the affirmative to adopt it tonight. So we will start off with our 2024 Department and Program Report. Just recapping staff. So the last couple that I did, those that were here will remember we had a lot of staff turn over the last couple of years. This was the first time that we've had pretty much a full team for the full year, and you'll be able to see the improvements in the programming that we've done with that. Starting at the top, Melissa Stewart is our recreation admin. She has been huge in implementing some of our larger events, helping get those organized, tying in community partners. This year was the first year that we tied in the Chamber of Commerce into the Boo Bash. We combined those programs, and so she was one of the ones that started that conversation on making those two programs happen together, which was fantastic. Will Cardenas is our, not what I wanted to do, my apologies. I want to go over to my notes. Will Cardenas is our community engagement coordinator who is overseeing enrichment programs. So he is doing fantastic work within the schools, getting families involved that have been underserved. He is doing such a great job with this group, in particular that he was nominated to be on the Reimagine Ardale Vision 2030 team. So he is one of 46 individuals in the 7 cities that is going to be developing a plan to essentially redesign the Robbinsdale Public Schools. So he is on there specifically to represent the communities and the families that he's been talking with in the schools. I went to the meeting a couple weeks ago. It is a phenomenal group. They're going to be doing some crazy cool work, and it's exciting to have someone on staff working on that project. So it's going to be really cool. And then lastly, the newest part of our team, Joel Ginn is our recreation coordinator overseeing youth sports. So this is a new full-time position that the council approved. Last year we got him starting in at the middle of the year, so he just finished his 6 months. He comes to us from Carleton College, so a former football coach. He's already proven phenomenal in working with our families, serving our community members, and developing some really high-level programs that we'll be getting to here in a little bit. So really excited about my team. A couple of the grants that we were awarded in 2024. No Child Left Inside was a $6,000 grant that we got to bring 105 kids out to Crystal Lake. So Will worked with local schools, literally bused kids from surrounding communities to Crystal Lake, worked with Bass Tech, taught about water quality and water conservation, fishing, all that good stuff, gave them opportunities to be a part of that. The LFPA food grant, let me highlight a real quick thing right here. The 72,000 pounds of food that we have right there was delivered to 66 units over 12 weeks. We worked with 3 different housing units that are low income and or senior housing and brought them food weekly. It was nearly 10 pounds of fresh produce per week. We used and partnered with 3 different local farmers to get this food. And so we packaged it and delivered it every week. It was a phenomenal one. The youth sports grant was with one of our local associations, Armstrong Cooper Girls Fast Pitch Softball. So that just got them additional equipment that they needed. Actually, within that, they got to buy 2 portable fences, which allowed them to do their first tournament, to host it at Sanborn. So you have to have 2 fields in the same location to do that, and you have to have fields that are the correct, fence length. And so we hadn't been able to do that at any point, and so this was the first time they've been able to do that at Sanborn, which was awesome. The league registration grant was humongous. This was a multi-city cooperative. Crystal actually led it. We were lucky enough to be a part of it. So we wrote letters of support and then helped promote it, and it lowered there's actually a typo in the packet that you received that said the league registrations were between $16 and $19. These were brought down from $65 and $67 or $75. They were actually $12 to $16 for a participant to participate in the league. So soccer was $12 a kid, flag football $15, basketball was $16. What we saw in this was a huge jump in our soccer league, which was already our largest sport. In 2022, we had 104 kids in there. In 2023, slight dip to 98. We had 145 kids in this league in 2024. So a big jump there. And then flag football bounced back. We had 20 participants, which was, again, cooperative between 3 cities. Basketball, we're at 33 participants, which is pretty consistent with where we've been. So really excited for that. Again, making programs accessible for families is what we want to do. The National Park Services grant was an interesting grant. We're tied this one in with the Parks Master Plan. This is allowing us to readdress our bike and ped plan. This wasn't a dollar amount. This was literally, they're just donating the time to help us put this together. So really exciting grant opportunity there. Programs and partnerships. So in 2023, we had 584 registered participants in our programs. This does not include like our free stuff, our yoga, our Zumba, our events, that type of thing. We had a goal internally to get 1,000 registered participants in 2024. We just missed it at 900, but I'm really, really, really excited about what we were able to do. I think if we had a full team for all of 2024, again, Joel came in halfway through, we would have knocked this thing out of the park. So that's very exciting. Within 2024, we built a new partnership with the Twin Stars. So they were just a group that was renting space in our community gym. They'd been there for years. I started having conversations with them about who they are, what they do. They're at a Brooklyn center. Their goals and ideals with their programs aligned with what my goals and ideals are for our department. They have programs for kids from kindergarten through high school. They actually have men's and women's semi-pro teams as well. So like they range the gambit. But what we are doing is we are trying to work together to develop a path for our kids to move through our programs and into a local affordable program that's elevated, that shares values, is affordable, is local, instead of sending them to Plymouth or to St. Louis Park where the club teams are that are a little more expensive, giving them a local, more affordable option, and additionally train our coaches better, align what we are teaching between their kids and our kids, make sure everything's in line. and working in hand that way. We're going to try and continue to make relationships just like this with the other associations, other groups within our community. This one has been successful so far, as you can see in the soccer numbers we had this year. This is the first time we did them or had them be a part of that. And then a really fun one, still got game, Tory Hunter and Jock Jones. This is actually Tory Hunter's non-for-profit. And one of the first things Will Cardenas did whenever he came on was he got us in contact with them. He came from the Twins as an intern, right? And so Tory Hunter and Jock Jones came to Armstrong and Cooper High School and discussed financial literacy with the high schoolers. So we worked with them for about a year to try and get them in the district. So we had to work with them to make sure they could come. And then we had to work with Robbinsdale School District to get into the schools during the school day, which was nearly impossible, but we finally got it figured out. And each school did it differently. Armstrong had the opportunity, they put it out to their kids for the Falcon Flex time, which is 45 minutes to come in and kind of do whatever activity they want to do. And so we had over 40 kids volunteer to come and learn about financial literacy, which was fantastic. At Cooper, they did a little bit differently. Their 7th hour math classes, they had come and attend the presentation. They had just over 100 kids participate, but the amount of kids that stayed afterwards and asked questions about, how do we do this, how do we do that, was fantastic. In reflection afterwards, both Tori and Jock were like, we thought we'd have more numbers, but the fact that these kids opted in and the level of participation and interest that were in the presentations and in the groups, they're both like head over heels excited about that aspect of it. So that was great to hear. Going to our annual events. So these were 6 of the events that we did this last year. Fire and Ice was canceled due to weather. We had 0 ice last year, if you do remember. I wanted to take this opportunity to throw out that this Friday is our next Fire and Ice event. It's going to be splendid and fantastic. It's at Sanborn Park from 6 to 8. Hope to see you all there. One of the things that happened in 2023 is we received a large skate donation. So the goal was to have skating available to kids without skates. And so in 2023, we received this donation. We haven't had the opportunity to use them until this year. So this is the first year that we were actually able to have kids come and just borrow a pair of skates. You give me your boots, I'll give you a pair of skates. You go out and you recreate in the park. So we're doing that. And so again, Fire and Ice this Friday. Come on out. Anyone listening at home. Movie in the Park. We do 3 of these throughout the year. They vary in participation. The picture here is one of the ones where I made a mistake, and I thought if we get people out earlier, then they'll really get there. But then you can't show a video with a projection screen if it's 6:30. So, entertain them for 45 minutes, figure some stuff out, listen to the first half of the movie, and then watch the back, half of the movie. It was a good time. Everyone laughed about it. Badges and Bobbers, 2nd annual event in 2024. So move this back to Crystal Lake this year. So what this is, again, something that we started here in Robbinsdale, and it is, this year was 5 police departments. Brooklyn Center joined us, but each city brings 10 to 15 kids. We register the kids, parents get to come, again, working with BazTech as a community partner, cops, families, all fishing, learning, interacting, talking, really trying to build those bridges between communities and those trying to protect them. And it was another huge event, another huge success that we had this year. So we're going to continue doing that. We've actually already received a grant for 2025 for $1,000 to go towards this event. So looking to build it bigger and better. Pet and Wheel, we had approximately 100 people in attendance for this one. A little bit smaller than we were anticipating, so we're making some adjustments to it for 2025. We're going to be moving this over to Kelly Park. Again, kind of a department goal is to spread opportunities for recreation across the city in different areas. We don't want everything happening in one park. So we felt like this was a good opportunity to move this across town, kind of revamp it, see what we can do with it. So we're planning a couple of different fun things with that one. Boo Bash continues to be a huge hit. We had over 400 participants at this one. Again, partnered with the Chamber of Commerce for this year. That'll be a continued thing going forward. So they're no longer going to do their event, but they're just going to come over and partner with us, help build that out. And the bike rodeo was the first time we held it here in Robbinsdale. We had a little over 200 people in attendance. It rained all day that day, though. We had some really cool stuff planned for this one, though. We had the opportunity for people to test e-bikes. We had bike jumps and all this good stuff. We had striders out for little kids. That was all planned, but they all pulled out at the last minute because it rained all day and no one wanted their stuff rained on. So it was still a great event, though. Still had a blast. Please come over for that, and it's a good time. Some park updates. As mentioned, The Armstrong Cooper fast pitch girls were able to use Sanborn for a tournament. Part of that reason is because we changed Sanborn North to a softball field, removed the grass infield, the mound, made that a fence. So that's now the first regulation softball field with covered dugouts in the area. They have them further away, but for us, we don't have anything like that. We also moved the fence in at the ballpark here right next to City Hall, Spanger's ball field, moved that into 200 feet. There are plans to cover those dugouts too, but now this makes this the first lit regulation field in our area so they can play past sunset, which is fantastic. Actual games, that good stuff. So there have been questions about the Whiz Bang softball tournament at Spangers. That's going to be moved over to Lee for 2025 and continuing years, so they'll be able to participate and do that there. And then hopefully we can get some lights there too, hopefully in the future, so they can play at night as well. They like that. And then Lakeview Terrace, we were working on a fitness court for the better part of 2024, actually going into 2023 for a bit. It finally got to a point where, as a city, we're just going to oversee it, and we have everything signed for that, and that's going to start going in 2025 to have some free outdoor fitness for our community members. It is... At this point, I'd like to kind of just touch on some of the stuff we're looking at for 2025, let you know where the department is heading. For the enrichment stuff, we are looking to develop new inclusive programs. Again, keep reaching out to underserved communities. We've been working with Courage Kenny in 2024. We're almost like close to having some programs over this way for us. So going to definitely have that in 2025, probably fall, because it's the way the program cycle works. But some of that stuff is going to be archery, a lot of wheelchair sports and accessibility, and a whole host of other stuff. Again, improved access to programs, just making sure that people know that there is fee assistance, and continuing to look for grants to fund programs. And then the Robbinsdale Roots program is a brand new one that we developed this last year. We noticed an issue, not an issue, but a miss within our farmers market where there aren't a lot of produce vendors. And then in a conversation with a community member that just happened to grow a lot of crops in their yard and didn't know what to do with them. So she was like, I don't know how to sell this stuff, and I give it away. We started having conversations, and we worked with one of the local farmers from the LFPA grant, the food program grant. He actually oversees is on the board for a group, the Mortensen Family Foundation. They gave us $5,000 to develop a program to teach local farmers at their houses how to then transition into selling at farmers markets. So we're just now taking registrations for this. We already have a handful signed up for it. They're going to learn how to grow crops, then how to transition that into selling at farmers markets, that good stuff. So again, trying to just connect avenues within our city and work together as a whole. On the sports side of stuff, we're looking to move away from vendor programs and develop our in-house youth sports program. So this is where Joel's going to be he's already been huge in developing curriculum, all that good stuff. What this will allow us to do, we can ensure high quality programs. We also can reduce the cost significantly for our families, and we can provide job opportunities for kids in high school. So we're going to be looking to hire coaches, hire refs, do all that. We can keep them. We already do that for our leagues where we hire refs and stuff, but then we can keep them throughout the year too. The best part is reducing the cost. So we can do this at half the cost for what is currently being charged for vendor programs, and they get twice as much time. So it's significant. And then we're also looking to do a girl-focused recreational sport program. We've already received a grant from Hennepin County, $10,000 for equipment for this. Our intention is to elevate women in sports, hire female coaches, hire female refs, give girls the opportunity to participate in sports that isn't, not that co-ed is bad, it's just different, right? And so this came from the need. We were having conversations with local associations. We noticed that our girl registrations were low, even in the girl basketball, like we were specific, still low. Noticing the associations, I thought they were all going over there. Turns out they aren't. They're just not signing up. So we're not offering what they want. So we're trying to develop something new, right? They're still out there. Girls still play sports. It's not that they're not there. So we're trying something new, trying to develop a place for them to come, participate, be a little more social, learn the skills, and then compete later, right? But boys generally, kind of brushing with a broad brush here, but boys generally want to compete and then learn. Girls, I think, feel like they want you to learn first and compete later. So it's just a reversal of thinking on that. So just a couple of things we're working on for 2025. But any questions or suggestions on our programs or anything we've done in 2024?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Thank you, Matt, for that presentation and all your work. I just wanted to highlight, or I guess maybe I'll start with the question of, you had the numbers, the 590, 84 to 900 registrations. So what are people registering for? What do those numbers kind of reflect from a standpoint of like what people are engaging with?
Yeah, so most of that is in our sports programs. We don't offer a ton of enrichment stuff. We haven't really had an enrichment department per se, but generally it is youth sports, our clinics, our classes, our vendor programs do get attended. We can do better there, but we saw increases in all of our leagues. We were actually able to get more participants by reducing the number of classes offered. Right, so we're trying to like streamline efficiency in our workforce. We only have the 3 full-time people, so we all work really hard to do that. But mostly use sports. So trying to grow that enrichment aspect of things.
Nice. So that reduction or that grant that was provided to reduce the cost of leagues might be reflected in those numbers, you feel?
I would say, yeah. I mean, again, we're generally around the 100 number. What we did see is we saw earlier registration this year than previous years, right? So we had people signing up in February and March, where generally they would have waited till June, July, August to register for that. But I would say yes, that is probably a good part of why there was such an increase. I wouldn't say that it's the only reason. I think our outreach from what we've been doing with our rec reviews and our continued marketing and again, just plans that we've been putting in place for the last couple of years is finally starting to kick in. That stuff takes a minute to kind of catch up. So.
Well, I love it. I love the more affordability aspect, and then I mean that it's a 54% increase, so that's really impressive. So congratulations on that. That's huge. I've been really impressed with your work the last couple years here, and that's it's just awesome to see how the Parks Department is transforming under your leadership. I also wanted to call out the fitness park too. I think that's kind of a unique thing that I didn't really know much about until engaging with the park board and with the Parks Department, and I think it's a neat idea and something that I plan on using. So those are my thoughts. Great job.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Matt. This is a great presentation. Again, just wanting to highlight how nice it is to have the added tech to be able to get immersed in some of the great photos and details that you shared.
Sure.
I'll tell you what I really loved. I loved seeing what feels like a real uptick in some of the grants and funding opportunities that you and your team are going after. That's really great to see. Also with how you're highlighting having some of those in-house opportunities in order for cost savings. And I love to hear like getting high school students involved with working with the city. That was my first job at the Lee Park warming house. So it's great to hear about those opportunities coming up. Another thing that I love to see is how distributing events across different parks. I think that's super important. And then the highlighted focus on girls and women's sports. I think that is absolutely fantastic. I love to see those goals for 2025. And then just something to think about moving forward too is how our programming can be welcoming to non-binary kids and folks as well. So just making sure that everyone feels welcome to those boys, girls, and for all.
Sure, absolutely.
So that's my feedback, but really great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any comments?
Matt, team, I just want to say it's amazing to see the transition, the continued intentional reflection practice that have happened over the last couple of years. I know during my time as being on the Park and Recs Commission, there were things we talked about, and seeing those things come to fruition and thinking about the amount of energy and effort it took to make that happen. We really greatly appreciate that, and I know that our city's going to continue to thrive in the world of park, recreation, and sports, and thinking about what it looks like for us to be involved. And so I just really appreciate the work that your team is doing and how hard and effort you're putting in to really transition and change what that looks like for here in Robbinsdale.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Matt, for starters, you're an excellent presenter, and that was a great presentation. So thank you for that. And I am very
I
impressed.
felt like I was sprinting through it. I probably need to.
But you
No,
know,
it
you
was good?
kept
Okay,
pace. It
pace
was
was
a
okay?
great presentation. Yeah. So nice
you.
job for sprinting through and still being understood. So really proud of the work that you guys have done, and proud to say that you are a part of Robbinsdale. So hats off to you and your team. I would love to see you guys do something around music in the park at
that'd
some
be-
point. Is that if that's ever on the table? But you said something about the in-home youth programs and making it cheaper. So just I think I understood, but just hum a few bars about what would an example of that program look like event.
Like just structurally and
Yeah.
okay, yeah, absolutely. So currently, the vendor that we uses a 4-week schedule. So you sign up for a class and your kid gets to go for 4 weeks. Right now, those class times range anywhere from 25 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on your age. And they just keep going back to back to back, right? Right now, those go for approximately $75 to $85 a class. And so what we are looking to do is to offer 8-week-long programs at 45 minutes to an hour, and do that at like $60. So it's just a matter of you get way more time for your dollar. We also get to then control the again, level of learning that happens in those classes. Again, between myself having over a decade of youth sports development and all that good stuff in this area, and what Joel is bringing to the table, we're going to absolutely crush what these programs are. It also allows kids, like, not just working, but leadership opportunities. You get to then, work with these kids, see what it's like to be a teacher. Most of them are players on school teams, so then it helps them realize like how big of jerks they are to their coaches when they don't listen, right? You get to deal with these kids and learn to be better human beings just on that level. So it's fantastic. We've seen it in our refs, just in general. But that's a little bit, and that's how the cost savings will happen. Again, just you don't have to sign up as much, and it's less.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yep. All right.
Okay, and then on to the Parks Master Plan. We're ready for this one. So first, thank you to the council for those who were here for this important in 2024. Acknowledging that it was a decent financial cost to even get into this, and so thank you again. Hoping for your continued support throughout the years as we either adopt this and then start implementing the plan. So for those who weren't a part of it, this was the timeline. Once we signed on we ended up going with Bolton & Mink was our partner in this, and so the 2024 timeline started in April and then went through honestly all of December there, but it didn't start there. We as city staff started in January, meeting with the Parks and Rec Commission, and we ended up doing a SWOT analysis. So when I first took over and started working with the Parks and Rec Commission in 2023, the stuff that they kept were saying, I wanted to understand how we could better work together. The biggest bullet points from what they gave back was they wanted more involved in park decisions. They wanted improved communication between city staff and the commission, and they wanted unique park experiences. They were concerned that all the parks look the same. You go to one, you've been to all of them, right? One commissioner referred to them as McDonald's playgrounds. Like that's what, it was just all big play sets. So we use that to then build our SWOT analysis. So Tim was kind enough to come and lead this for me at the commission meeting last January, which feels wild that was just last January. And this is what came from that. So, kind of jotted down all of their feedback. We took this and literally gave this verbatim to Bolton & Mink, which now is in the Parks Master Plan. So it is pretty much exactly what they wanted in the Parks Master Plan, really led the direction of this planning process. So we had a couple different opportunities for community engagement. We did an online survey. So we posted flyers in all of the parks, had a QR code that linked directly to the survey. We had this posted online. We sent out notices in a variety of different ways to get as many people as we possibly could to fill out this survey. We had nearly 500 responses to the survey, which is fantastic. Bolton & Mink was very complimentary on just the number of responses we had. Over 70% were ages 31 to 60. Over 70% have lived in Robbinsdale for more than 5 years. And so I thought those were significant numbers because it's people who have been around for a little bit, and 31 to 60 feels like a wide enough range to like get a wide number of uses within the park. 50% of the responses were from households with kids, which means 50% weren't. So that's great, right? Yeah, good diversity there as well. And then 66% of responders indicated they frequently frequented Sanborn and Lakeview Terrace. Most responses did come from Ward 2, so that makes sense. But we did have multiple responses from all wards visiting all parks. So no ward was left out. All wards were represented. All parks were represented. And one of the most requested improvements, accessible playgrounds, was by far the number one. Looking for stuff that aren't ropes, that aren't steps, right? Kids that can get up there and play with all different types of abilities. Improved bathrooms was another huge one. So a lot of appreciation, honestly, for the BIFs that we put around the parks. I've had a lot of people who are like, Robbinsdale is great to walk. I can go by any bath or any park and go to the bathroom. So it's good. We do have some misses. Sunset Park is one that came back as we need to put a BIF over there or something, so kids can play there. Little kids go. So we learned some things that we could improve upon. But again, like, can we get some permanent ones too? Would be nice. That flush and, get clean. So okay, we're working on that. Drinking fountains, accessible water, shade was another one that I don't have here. But better park connectedness and walkability is another one that we're working on. Again, we got that grant from the National Park Services to help develop that plan. So we actually got that after we started this process. Bolton Mink was going to help us with that. And then once we got that, we got to take Bolton Mink off of that. So city dollars didn't have to be spent on the connectedness aspect, the wayfinding part of it. We were actually able to just let them focus on the parks and work on that, which was fantastic. We did 2 community engagement opportunities, actually technically 3, but the people of Bolton Mink suggested going to the people, is what they said. Don't create events where they specifically come to give feedback on parks and what they want. You'll generally just get the negative people coming out, right? But if you go to the community and set up where they already are, then you get a better spread of what is actually needed and wanted within your city. So we identified Whiz Bang Days, obviously, and the Chamber of Commerce meet and greet as these 2 opportunities. So for the Whiz Bang Days, we were focusing on overall park system needs. What do you want? There are multiple ways to give your feedback. There's literally a dream box where it's like a blank sheet of paper. Write down what you want, put it in the dream box. Puffball jars where you got 3 opportunities to put in 7 different options, right? You put them all in, you count them all up. And then flags on a map at Sanborn. Specifically, Sanborn was signaled or kind of called out as the largest opportunity for the city to make a large change in a park. And then also it's like the one that's most in the forefront because we've been pushing back changes at Sanborn for a while just because we wanted to make sure we got it right? We don't want to do a project and redo a project 2 years later, waste, city taxpayers' dollars. So trying to be intentional with what we're doing there. So that was Whiz Bang Days. So we did that in the morning. Here, actually, at City Hall, we had the car show going on. We had a softball tournament going on. We had really good cooperation and participation there. I doubled this same thing at the band concert that evening, too. So try to get different groups, get as much information on that day as we possibly could. And then the chamber meet and greet was slightly different. So that one was a little more specific on Sanborn Park. Once we gathered information from the Whiz Bang Days, we were able to kind of bring that back, get 2 different plans for Sanborn, Concept A, Concept B that you see there. What we did is we gave participants 3 stickers, 1 yellow, 1 pink, 1 green, yellow being the most important, pink being the second most, and green being the third most important. And then asked them to put it on either of the maps. And they didn't have to put 3 on one or 3 on the other. It was literally, of all these things, what would you like to see? And so if you can tell on this, Concept B was the most stuck on. The glob of stickers right there in the middle is where the park building would be. So pulling that away from the hill, making it a little safer, getting that a little more central location. And then some other things as well. Dog park at the top part, north part of the field or map there. And we also discussed there the trail usage and bike pedestrian trends within the city. So Holly of the National Park Services came out working with our senior commission We had boards of Robbinsdale up, gave people markers, and we're like, do you bike or walk? If they said yes, we said, here's a marker, where do you go? And they literally drew on the map where they went, where they were going. So we had a decent idea of like those who were there and where they, walk around the city. We also asked, where do you have issues, right? And so then we circled those in red, like where do we need to address if we are starting to do this? How do we do it right? So came back. This is the final plan for Sanborn. So as you can see, we went with the centralized building, hoping to get a dog park on the north side. I like to call it an unleashed dog area, is the way I like to refer to it. And then a larger playground, new building, a concrete pad for our hockey rink, which would then double as a basketball court and also allow for those Courage Kenny programs. We could do wheelchair sports there. They do football, basketball, they do softball even in that type of facility. So literally anything. Tennis courts need to be addressed. Again, accessibility issues, the fence that goes around that, you can't get through in a wheelchair. I didn't even realize it until the survey, but they're absolutely right. Their trails don't go to it, and the opening's too small. What I also learned about our paths, we do have some nice paths. We have great benches, but the paths don't connect to the benches. So it's just little things like that we're trying our best to do what we can, but until you ask and get the feedback, you don't really know what's what. So some of the feedback that we got was increased lighting for walking after dark. And I did this intentionally, but not too much lighting, right? We had neighbors who were like, we don't want the neighborhood flooded with light, but we want light, but just not too much light. So really threading some needles. Once we get into this, there are options. They have really good LED options now that are super directional, and I don't think we'll have an issue when we start putting stuff in. But again, just taking into account that type of feedback. So again, improved road crossings and markings for pedestrians. The northeast corner was pointed out. There's a large intersection that really flares out. It's a little bit tricky getting through at times. Again, open building with indoor bathrooms. So again, people just looking for an opportunity to get out of the sun at times and again, use a nice clean indoor bathroom. There's been discussion on, is having dogs at the park a dangerous thing when the playground's there? But then the feedback is also there are already dogs in the park when the playground's there. The reason we're putting a dog facility there is because there are dogs in the park. It's being used as that. So allow people to use it the way it's currently being used, just safely. And then playground sizing is going to be a big thing. So ages 3 to 15 is kind of the window. We have people on the commission who have, feedback for, we have older kids that want to play there, but we also have younger kids that want to play there. You can't make it just small because they have a larger playground at Lakeview Terrace. So all these things are really trying to balance out as we go through this. And then pickleball and tennis courts is a thing that we want to try and keep, okay? Pickleball lines on a tennis court is a thing that you can do. You limit the number of people that can participate in that. Also, it's not the highest level of pickleball that you can get. The nets are different sizes. There are differences in the court dimensions, all that good stuff. We have a horseshoe pit there that's not being used to the fullest extent. We have the room for it. So we don't even have to change the footprint. We can get 2 pickleball courts in there, and it'll be great. And so with that, there is a small contingent that wants to keep the horseshoe pit. So again, in all these community conversations and feedback that we're gathering, making sure we're changing some stuff, being flexible in what we're doing. There was a suggestion to have 2 permanent bags stationed up there. And so maybe we do 1 permanent bag and 1 horseshoe pit, right? It's those types of things that we can do to kind of come to the middle on people who recreate in the park. Again, my purpose for making these improvements isn't to change the usage of the park, but just to elevate what is currently happening in the park. So when there's a request for a full court basketball court, it wouldn't fit in that same space. The dimensions of a hockey rink and a basketball court are different, so you couldn't go long ways. But then also that invites adults to make it a destination. Right now, it's a lot of kids who walk to the park to use it for basketball. So my goal is to, again, elevate that. Adults can still come and use half-court basketball. They can walk over. They can even, drive over if they want to. But it's just less likely they'll do that. So, and then one of the biggest things that came from this whole process was the unsiloing of departments. So That big line that red line you see through the park is a storm sewer that's going to be going in to the park. And that didn't come up until we started talking about how we redo Sanborn, right? And so engineers have been doing a great job putting all these things together. They're going to do a Chowan project and a shoreline project, and we're working together to try and figure out how to most efficiently do all this stuff together, right? So we don't want to tear up the park, put it back together, tear it up next year, put it back together, tear it up the year after that, put it back together, right? We want to be as efficient as possible with this, trying to make sure we find the funding for it, and being smart, but again, just being intentional with what we're doing, which is something that, I don't know if overlooked is the right word. It's a terrible word to use for predecessors, but like it just wasn't top of mind, right? And so for 2025, the priorities, this is going to be a multi-year project for Sanborn. Again, dog area for me is one, easy enough to put a fence up when we get the pipe in. The removal of the building, one, it's dangerous. It's right next to the hill, kids climb on it. Where the new playground is currently located overlaps with where the building is. So if we're going to put in a new playground, we have to get the building out of there. Then we have options that we can do for warming houses if we don't have a building in by the end of this year, which we won't. But we can have options for a warming house for next year. And then the removal of the wooden ice rink. Talking with our public works people, it's going to cost more to maintain it than it will to take it out. So I think doing small things along the way to show the community that there are improvements coming and happening is beneficial. I think taking out the stuff that quite honestly looks bad makes things look better. So that's what we're kind of working on for that. As far as the trail connectedness, again, park signage and wayfinding. Again, the engineering team honestly has a great plan to over the next however many years. They don't have dates for all the projects, but they have plans for bike paths to connect all of Robbinsdale. A lot of it's going to be blue line stuff that we don't know anything about just yet, but we're going to learn about here in the next couple of years and hopefully get that figured out. But the biggest thing that I want to bring from the National Park Service's project is signage. How do I get to Lakeview Terrace from Sanborn? How do I get to Kelly, right? And then the safest routes to do that. So it's going to be a lot of that stuff. Minneapolis does a great job of it. You get on their trails and you know as you're going around. And it won't be hard. We're small, but people still don't even know that Kelly Park is there, you know? So just those types of, and that's from people who live in the community. Like they live over by Kelly Park, don't even know it's by them. So, yeah, so that's the stuff that we're working on for that. And again, my priorities for 2025 upon the approval of this plan. So questions or suggestions?
I've got a question.
Sir.
The building that's moving, so the warming house, I think I saw it said community center under it, or did I see something else? What's the intention of that?
So community center, I feel, is a strong word, and that's a very hot button topic for for Sanborn Park, honestly. Community center is strong for what we're putting in there. It's going to be a building approximately the same footprint of what is currently there. Okay. Not going to be big, not going to be small. We hopefully have some offices in there so we can keep it open during the day. It will have a programmable space for yoga, for Zumba, for anything like that. We still plan on running our summer camp program out of there. Hopefully there's some sort the building we used as our dream building is out of Fridley and has a large overhang. So hopefully we can get something along those lines. And there are no plans for the building as of yet. We actually are waiting to hear back on a grant to help do some of that planning process. I've worked with Kayla, our sustainability coordinator, to apply for that one. So we're waiting to hear back from that one shortly. But again, a building that fits the park is the intention. I know previously it was 2 stories and it was going to be huge and elaborate and great. We've moved away from that. The community members let us know that it wasn't what they wanted, even though it would be a phenomenal opportunity to make money, but it's not what is needed in the community, nor does it fit the park. So again, small, programmable, efficient bathrooms. That's what we want.
Well, again, excellent job here. I love everything I just saw. That park looks beautiful, and I've got some passion around lighting, so I'm glad to see that we don't want to light people's bedrooms up like it's Close Encounters of the Third Kind outside, and just let them be sleeping at night. So, well done there. And pickleball, that's fantastic. Yeah. I love pickleball.
Great.
So, great. Any other comments, questions, council?
I have no questions at this time, but again, just want to highlight all of the good work. It's been a delight to see the phases of this project, and I don't think the city has ever done a master plan of this size and scope, especially for our parks before. So it's a really exciting time to be a part of here in Robbinsdale, to see the changes coming to not just our larger parks, but I really love the connectivity goal for, you know, get our residents to the parks.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great vision, and I love to see sort of the collaboration with Richard and the engineering team, just to see how we can be the most efficient in some of these projects. So I'd love to see the collaboration and all of the work that's gone into this. So great job, Matt. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just echo what was previously said as well. This is amazing. I think as we talk about taking feedback and applying that intentionally and immediately, I know there are dreams of grandeur sometimes as far as like what opportunities could exist, but this has really been a beautiful project. And I was fortunate enough to sit in the Park and Recs Commission meeting, and fortunate it was, you all are putting the work out there, and thank you for the community members who sit on that as well too, and work with our city. Thank you.
Excited to polish up this gem.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I guess just what I'd reiterate what Matt started with. We as staff share our appreciation at council. We wouldn't be able to get to this point, this level of lift, without council support. So certainly just to get this done, that was instrumental. Certainly look forward to continued support as we go forward with it. Do want to call out, just in case there's any confusion, we're throwing out a lot of big ideas, a lot of big changes coming, as Mr. Basic noted. This Sanborn specifically is going to be something that's done in coordination with some upcoming utilities working street projects in that area. We've shared a little bit about that feasibility to come to council here in the coming weeks as that gets to find out. I share that as a reminder to the community. We'll continue to communicate out big changes coming. If it's something leaving, if it's something new coming in, whether it's infrastructure, a playground, a building, what have you. So that will continue. I just want to call that out specifically because I don't want to say we glossed over it, but the months long of work to do it in 20 minutes, I don't think does it justice. But that was a very small snippet of what we talked about and what we plan on doing forward. So I don't want people to be concerned about it. I want to again communicate that this certainly isn't the end. This is a big lift. My thanks to Matt and his team and the commission to get this far. But look forward to some fun projects ahead.
Yeah.
Right. And one last thing I wanted to say is I really appreciate you guys going to meet the residents where they're at versus making them come to you.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So, well done.
Oh, I'll add one more thing.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't talk about the fact you all doing so much grant writing as well too. There's a lot of work that goes into that, and I just want the public to know, like, our team's putting in work to write grants and create opportunities for us. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah. To continue with what Tim did say, as far and again, for the community, when we start looking at other parks within this parks master plan, Sanborn did get specific and special attention. The other parks within the plan, there are suggestions as to what could fit within those parks, but not specific additions or subtractions as of yet. So again, just a general overview of like what could fit there. And again, as we start working through those parks, as mentioned at the very beginning of it, our goal is to have unique experiences at all of the parks. So nothing too crazy, nothing too big. And again, whenever we get to a park and start doing those updates, we will start getting community feedback at those points. Yeah. So.
Great. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, moving on to public hearings. We have none. Old business, there is none.
only that property, he also owns some parcels immediately adjacent, further south on West Broadway. We call that out because as that property was acquired, there was some interest to provide the flexibility for that original business that was in there. One of the caveats of the residential business, which it currently is, and operating under a conditional use permit, requires no more than 15% of the building square foot and gross floor area be occupied as a part of the business. Additionally, looking at the corridor there as West Broadway continues to expand with businesses along that route, the B2 zoning district is much more in alignment with its neighbors. Would note that sometimes when you see something like this come through from staff, a zoning amendment also comes with a comp plan amendment, but this is not called for because the city comprehensive plan already guides this parcel from mixed use to commercial, which that B2 zoning does fall within. As for process, do want to note that a public hearing was held for this proposal January 16th in front of the Robbinsdale Planning Commission. No members of the public appeared to comment. Staff has not received any documented feedback related to that public hearing as well. Again, pretty straightforward request. Staff does support and recommend that council go forward with the rezoning. You do have some attachments here, some of the historical map and calling those things out, and then ultimately the resolution for that rezone, again, to go from RB residential business to B2 limited business zoning. I would note, per the city charter, this does require a 4/5 approval. In tonight's situation, it would require a 4/4 approval. If no action is taken by council, it ultimately does result in approval. But again, staff is recommending going forward as described. So at this point, I'm happy to respond to any questions, comments, or concerns. And questions, comments, or concerns related to the resolution or otherwise.
Council, any comments, questions? Yes.
Thank you,
Councilmember
Mayor.
Wagner.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tim, so besides the occupancy percentage, what are some other differences between the two zones? So I think there's mention of like parking requirements. Is there inspection requirements? Are there aesthetic beautification? I know you mentioned it, kind of the comp plan being a part of all of this in the equation. So maybe speak on those a little bit, if you could. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Wagner, great question. The parking is a good one to call out specifically. Does currently operate under a variance for the property that would carry. That noted, as you can see in the proposal that's mapped out, they would exceed the 10 stalls required for the operation of this business. As far as business operations, when you ask about inspection-wise, certainly from the startup, so any redoing of the interior under building or otherwise, those types of inspections certainly would occur to ensure that the previously non-commercial space was converted appropriately. So we've already been involved in that part of the process. So had our foot in the door, so to speak, ensuring that goes forward. Again, any standards related to that B2 limited business district, as far as design or otherwise, at this point we feel that those standards have been met.
Great. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
Good question. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Parisi?
Question on the intended UPS store. Given this location on West Broadway, are there any considerations around large trucks or access on that, somewhat narrow road compared to other larger areas? I guess my question is, would we anticipate an increase in larger volume trucks in that neighborhood?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Parisian, a good question. I don't have number by way of what the increased traffic would look like, but I can talk about the egress, ingress. You see the facility is being situated on a corner, does bring in some inherent advantage. You can see that the parking as proposed is not at like a 90-degree angle, for example, so some additional room for if you're coming off of 39th versus if you're coming off of Broadway. It does provide for more space. It's something that we talked about with the business owner who made the proposal. As they review it, again, I don't have numbers in front of me, but as they reviewed what the operation will look like, it's not a concern for them.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And then one more question, if I may. In other recent discussions around rezoning, oftentimes TIF comes up as a question. Are there any considerations around TIF with this?
This not really triggering any redevelopment to that level. No TIF was discussed. Again, the property owner of the prior business remains owner of the property, so they felt confident that this would be a high and good use of that without that ask.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing? Okay.
Could I ask another one?
Well, of course you can.
Sweet, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Tim. And I guess that spurred a thought. So what are they allowed to, do they have to keep all the existing structures then as part of this? Or like what is the, since it's not kind of meeting that threshold of like a full redevelopment, it sounds like, it's kind of a renovation. So is there, what's that line between, renovation and redevelopment?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Regner, I guess if I'm understanding what you're asking, a full redevelopment of the property in many circumstances would be like a tear down rebuild. The footprint's not changing. There are some components of the parking that you can see on the maps that were provided as attachments. If you go to attachment D, you can see what that footprint looks like. This does include, again, kind of that egress option off of 39th to allow for parking in those non-90-degree stalls. Again, the 90-degree stalls would extend to a point going mostly southerly. That would limit what that traffic lane and capacity could include. Yeah, a redevelopment of the entirety of the property would be more substantial, certainly, than what they're requesting.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you for that explanation. That was helpful. I think that was all my questions.
Okay. I don't have any questions, so do we make a motion here to take a vote?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Council, I guess what I would just, again, reiterate a couple of things. The Planning Commission did host the public hearing again, January 16, 2025, did provide their recommendation of approval. Staff has recommendation of approval, and ultimately the approval is for the action for the City Council to adopt the attached resolution that approves rezoning of 3883 West Broadway from RB, residential business, to B2, limited business zoning.
I will move that we adopt the attached resolution that approves the rezoning of 3883 West Broadway from RB to B2 zoning.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say no or nay. Ayes have it. Done deal. Okay. Well, let's see. On to other business. Voucher requests pending approvals for disbursements. Pay the bills. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I would take a motion and a vote.
All right. Great. Is there a motion to approve voucher requests for pending approvals and disbursements?
So moved.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
I'll second it.
All right. I'm sorry. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no or nay. Great. Good to pay the bills. All right. Moving on. Administrative reports.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. A few brief items. Mr. Basic noted, reminder, we've got Fire and Ice this Friday. Fun activity starts at 6 o'clock over at Sanborn. We've been getting some question about the transition to the new waste hauler that'll be effective April 1. We posted some great FAQs on the city website. The city clerk has taken the lead on this project. Certainly I'll be assisting with the transition, but we continue to flush a lot of these items out at a high level. No increases compared to what your current bill, your current utility bill is. That was a big component for that transition to make sure it was smooth. I know there's a lot of questions about logistics, getting the bins out, the new bins in. We're currently working on a lot of those items, but we'll again continue to communicate that out, including mailers. So I know not everybody's tech savvy or wired in, but we get a lot out that way, and we'll get out other ways as well. But ultimately, as always, would strongly encourage folks just to reach out rather than let misinformation go too far. Quick call, quick email. We're happy to respond to any questions, comments, concerns. Community garden plots are currently open. I do want to note that the froze up for just a second. The Home Energy Squad visits are once again available. The portal's live online. This is something that the EDA approved in January. I know we had some good success in 2024, so we brought it back again. And then again, the last time tonight, that I'll ask for community input. Here a couple weeks ago, we had web design go live, new website. Admittedly, there's a couple of kinks, so if you notice anything, just give us a quick shout. A ton of work, months and months that went into that. So a few things, are getting ironed out. I think we're in a great place. We're really excited. We got a ton of great info on there. But if you do notice something, please don't hesitate to reach out to city staff. That's all I got.
Great. Okay. Council general communications. Anybody have anything to say? Let's start with Councilmember Blackledge.
Yeah. I will say this, I recommend this, taking time to explore the events and things happening in our community, and also outside. You talk about Black History Month as well too. And then I also want to acknowledge and recognize Sheila Webb, former council member as well too, and think about the contributions she's made to our community, and shifting that, and appreciate you all. So yeah, get out, explore, learn, and continue to grow. Thank you.
Councilmember Wagner.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll just echo what Councilmember Blackledge just said and shared. I appreciate those sentiments, and happy Black History Month, everybody.
Councilmember Parisian.
Thank you. I will echo the same. Happy Black History Month, and thank you for those sentiments. Thank you.
All right. Likewise, happy Black History Month, and again, well done on your presentation, Matt. It was just fantastic, and I'm really couldn't be more happy to be a part of this council and a part of this group we have here. So thank you. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay or no. All right. Look at that. I used the gavel. Done.